Assalamu alaikum. Today we are talking all about how to have a healthy and productive Ramadan, mindset shifts to help us all do that. Today we have a very special guest who many of you know. Shaykh Muhammad is the creator of the Visionaire Lifestyle and Visionaire Ramadan. He's the founder of AlMaghrib Institute and DiscoverU. He's been named one of the world's top 500 most influential Muslims. And I wanted to talk to him because he's all about empowering Muslims to make positive change in our lives and big, incredible changes with the power of dua. And especially when it comes to us thinking about a healthy and productive Ramadan, we all really need that motivation boost. We have changes we want to make. We want to get healthier. We want to have more time for worship, more time for family, but we often struggle getting caught up with the day-to-day scheduling. How can we rise above that and make healthy habits that last now and long after Ramadan too? Ramadan is that perfect time on focusing on becoming a better version, more action-oriented version of ourselves, inshallah. So let's bring Shaykh on. Shaykh Muhammad Alshareef. Perfect. Assalamu alaikum. So thank you for taking the time out of your busy Ramadan schedule to join us. I remember attending my first AlMaghrib course in Toronto, Code of Scholars, when I was just 13 years old. So it is great to continue benefiting from you today, alhamdulillah. I think right now it's like an hour after iftar in UAE. So what did you have for iftar? Please let us know.
Okay, so I had pH water at 8.5 to break iftar with the best water. I had a fruit salad, and that's it.
Oh, okay. So you must be hungry. So inshallah, we will try and keep this short and sweet. I have some rapid fire questions that I want to just let our audience kind of hear from you a little bit and get to know you a bit better, if that's okay.
Yep.
Okay, so what is your favorite sunnah dua?
Sunnah dua. Did you say rapid fire?
Just one that comes to mind, one that you use often.
ربنا إننا آمنا فاغفر لنا وارحمنا وأنت خير الراحمين. I was saying that this dua, I really love it because Allah says in the Quran that there's a group of His servants that always used to say this dua, and He's happy with them. And I wish that, you know what, if I keep saying this dua, that inshallah I'll be amongst those people whom Allah is, happy with.
I mean, that's beautiful. Who is the sahaba you most resonate with?
Uthman radiallahu anhu, I love the story of Uthman because, he was wealthy and he was righteous and he did a lot for the ummah. So a lot of those themes I like, and I like that he combined dunya and akhirah together in his character.
SubhanAllah. So for some more actually rapid questions, do you play any sports?
Not really, no.
Okay.
Any sports?
So
sports? I'm more of a isolated.
Your favorite workout?
Introverted style.
Your most hated workout that you would not like to do?
Hated? I don't think I have one. I'm always up for a challenge.
Okay.
Alhamdulillah.
That's good attitude, mashallah. So you are from Canada, you're living in UAE. Which do you prefer?
For sure, I prefer overseas. I love Canada as a concept, but I prefer living overseas.
But okay, mashallah. And while you were in Canada, Ottawa or Winnipeg?
They're both nice to visit for a short period of time, but that's about it. So I wouldn't choose either.
Okay, some food questions for you. Mandi or biryani?
So
the raisin and nut version
trying
of
to
biryani.
stay away from chicken and beef. Yeah. Stay away from the chicken and beef a little bit more. So I'm on the second one.
Okay. Interesting. Are you a vegetarian since you said that?
No, I'm not. But
okay.
I'm
What about
right now? I like the experiment so far.
Interesting. Okay. The last podcast you listened to?
I don't listen to podcasts.
Okay. The last book you read?
The last book I read, I like fiction to give my mind a chance to take a break. But the last book was the Tony Robbins book on health. I forget what it's called. Life Force.
Okay, and for a little bit of controversy, what was worse, the Will Smith slap or Khabib jumping out of the cage?
What was worse? No, Habib jumping out of the cage was not bad. But yeah, the Will Smith, that was that was rough.
Okay, so some interesting questions. I feel like everyone maybe had some surprises to hear your answers, so thank you for that. Okay, so let's jump into the questions I wanted to speak with you today. Let's start with health. So of course, so many people are trying to be healthy this Ramadan. That's definitely something that we encourage. And everyone kind of has a different motivation to want to be healthy. So at Amana Fitness, we like talking about having a right why, a strong motivator. So what is your motivation to be healthy?
And you don't need motivation anymore. Like your body is saying, we need to get healthy. And I think I'm at that stage in my life where my body's the one motivating me. Like when you're younger, it may be about weight loss and looking good, but then later on, like you have to take care of yourself.
Yeah, that's definitely something that we hear from so many Muslims that, you know, it's like really their body is forcing them to start being healthy. So what healthy habits are you prioritizing in your life right now?
The main one is fasting, like not eating so many times in the day. So even before Ramadan started, kind of like the intermittent fasting style, not having too many meals, and then minimizing the time.
Awesome. So, you know, you're famously known for creating innovative education for Muslim communities to teach things in new ways. So the first viral Ramadan video series, Taraweeh Truffles, you know, weekend seminars, personal development with that faith-based concept for Muslims. So I'd love to know what is one positive trend that you see the Muslim community going towards today, and one negative trend you think we need to kind of just be cautious of.
So I think a nice trend with like social media is that a lot of people are doing dawah on, you know, they're opening their hadith social media accounts, their Quran social media account. So in the olden days, it would be like only a sheikh is the one doing dawah. But nowadays online, I think a lot of shuyukh are being left behind. And some people, so like some random kid, a million followers where he shares you know, an ayah a day or something like that. So I'm really happy about that. A trend to look out for, I don't know, you know, I think also downside of social media is that when social media has an opinion, they kind of like try to steer everybody in that direction. And if you disagree, your posts get shadow banned and blocked and stuff like that. So that's kind of a little concerning for, you know, because people try to conform.
Right, kind of the double-edged sword of that. It's amplifying a lot of voices, which can be used for beneficial purposes, but also it can become an echo chamber. So that's an interesting insight. So when it comes to specifically Ramadan goals, of course, so many of us have these big Ramadan goals. You know, we want to work out every day. We want to increase in dua and dhikr. You know, so many of us want to increase in our Quran reading in this month. How do you basically, what would you say to convert someone from a complainer to an action taker?
To be honest, I think it's good companionship. If somebody's with people who don't complain and they don't accept complaining, then they will also like stop complaining so much. But if they're in an atmosphere, a group where people are complaining all the time, then they're just gonna like, they again, back to conformity. They feel like in order to conform, they have to keep complaining with everybody else.
That's really interesting because so many times people will say, how do I get motivated? And, you know, are kind of expecting some really creative new solution to that. But you're right, it does a lot of times come down to the company and environment that's around us that is keeping us feeling unmotivated.
Part of the motivation for me is like when I'm reading a book, if I want to get like quote unquote motivated, I'll read a book about health because I feel the atmosphere of people talking about health, even in a book or even in a YouTube video, motivates me to, hey, want to get into that group.
So kind of ingesting that content that, you know, is aspirational in its nature. So in our Amana Fitness community, you know, we have a lot of ladies who have these really big, strong health goals. They really want to make a change, but also they're kind of have this history of on and off for years often, of trying to make a change, falling off the wagon. So what would your advice to be to somebody who has a history of struggling with consistency and motivation, but they have their that strong why and they really want this?
I think it goes down to habits and discipline. So a lot of people think that motivation leads to, good habits, but actually it's discipline that leads to motivation. So, and the discipline part of things is like, hey, you know what? If I actually call these things like linchpin type of actions, that when you do it, then everything comes together. Like the whole door opens up. And for me, that is, I know I've pinpointed it that if I wake up for Fajr and I go to the masjid, all healthy habits fall in line. And if I don't go for Fajr, missing that one part of my day, like sleeping in and, not healthy and eating bad, everything falls apart. So you got to find out for yourself, what is that discipline lynch that connects all the good habits together. And again, you don't need motivation. It's all about finding what that critical action is.
Right. So like that concept of a keystone habit that pushes everything through the rest of the day. What if someone's like, okay, I start off the day great, and then you don't want to know me by afternoon because everything just falls apart?
I think like you'd say keystone habit. I think before things fall apart, there's a keystone habit that they missed, and then it falls apart. So for example, they may have missed to drink water, or they may have missed to bring a healthy snack with them in the morning. So those keystones, if they can be tracked, if I don't drink water, I will eat unhealthy later in the day. If I don't bring a side salad snack, I will eat unhealthy in the day. If you pinpoint what the keystones are, you don't have to fall apart.
That's really interesting because, so often we think of our day as one long series, when you're saying it, kind of look at it based on the decisions that lead you to those trends in your day.
I would also add that that the good news about this is that we're not as out of control as we think. It's just, we're just not being strategic. Like you can be in control. It's not about falling off a wagon or not. You just have to I know when I fall off the wagon and what caused it.
Yeah. So I see a lot of basically all or nothing thinking, that people are on track or off track. Why do you think we struggle so much with just making those small steps that okay, I didn't do everything, but I can do something? Why is that so hard?
So being healthy is high maintenance. And being unhealthy is like zero maintenance. To be unhealthy, just let yourself go. And people are actually, especially for men, I don't know how, for women, probably the same. You just want mental relax. That's why people watch Netflix. That's why they're always relaxing. So being unhealthy is mentally relaxing for a little bit until it catches up to you. You have to find a way to be healthy with habits so that your mind can still go into autopilot and it can still be easy for you.
Yeah, finding those activities that are enjoyable and relaxing, even as they're good for you.
What I said earlier about the companionship, like the people around you, I think people can get more healthy if they live in an environment where they're walking, for example. If they're living in an environment, where the healthy habits are built into their life and they don't have to choose it. It's just like, hey, if you want to eat breakfast, you're going to have to walk for 15 minutes to get it. So then oh man, I hate this, but then you get used to it. Yeah,
definitely. I love building in those aspects in the environment. But on the flip side of that, I also will work with a lot of women who will, have this really difficult situation that they're, in a really small home, they're, having all these responsibilities, and they'll say that, it's kind of like their husband is the most unsupportive person in the world and tells them every day, I don't know why you're trying, you're never going to get healthy. What's your advice for that situation?
So what I would do is first I would get myself motivated to establish the keystone habits. Motivation for me comes from books. I would find a book like, Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins, something like that. It's a really tough kind of book, but you read it and then you're like, I want to be like that. I want to make a change. And then you got to focus in on your vital behaviors, that what if I do it, my life becomes healthy. And what if I don't do it, I fall off the wagon. And if you pinpoint it and you study it, and it takes time, it may take like 4 weeks to figure out what that one thing is. But when you get that one thing, then, then it's a no-brainer. For me, it's going to sleep at 10 p.m. and going for fajr in the morning. If I do those two things, I'm on track. Everything's perfect.
So those are some really great tips that I feel like we might not always think of when it comes to being healthy. Basically, you're saying setting up your environment, picking those keystone habits, and if you're not in a position where you can do that, going back to that root motivation that can basically push you through a difficult environment. So that's great. I think specifically if we look at rates of health in the Muslim community, and of course I have my own theories about this, but I want to hear from you with your unique insight about the Muslim community. Why do you think so many Muslims struggle to be healthy and fit?
So I wonder if it's only Muslims. Is it religion that makes people unhealthy, or is it environment? Say, for example, if you went to Indonesia.
Well, I mean, some studies have shown that that Muslims, and specifically more practicing Muslims, have higher rates of obesity.
Are you sure about that?
I mean, in North American context. So you're saying that you don't believe that. Okay, that's fair. But
no, I don't believe that it's religion that makes somebody fat.
Of course, of course.
It's environmental. In Canada, let's say Ottawa, it's very cold. Sun goes down at like 4:30 p.m. in the wintertime. And I went in the clothing section, and everything is 2X large, 3X large. It's huge. And everybody's like that. Mm-hmm. And if somebody came from outside of Canada, they would find the clothing to be too big because they come from a different environment. And so that's why I'm saying I'm not so sure that it's an Islamic thing. It's an environment thing. And then, of course, we have habits in Ramadan. Hey, we might be sleeping a lot, and big meal, then sleeping. But Ramadan is still just 1 month in the year.
So, kind of shifting gears a little bit. So Ramadan is, of course, a really super busy time for so many families. So any advice for someone who's trying to make time in that busy schedule, alongside with worship goals, family goals, to have some time also for personal development, for learning, for fitness?
So one thing, because I also have a lot of things going on, what I do is, I've been doing it these past days as we're leading up to the Visionaire class. I set a goal every day to get 100 points. So what I mean by that is with every item that I do on my to-do list, I get 10 points. So I gamify my productivity. And one day I'll get 60, one day I'll get 80, and one day I got 100, and then I was really productive that day. And I said, you know what? I got 100 points today. I'm just going to relax for the rest of the day, knowing that I got a lot of things done. So kind of gamifying my habits, then every day I say to myself, what can I do to get 100 points today? So it's rather than what do I have to do, I'm actually again, gamifying it. How can I do things to build up my numbers by the end of the day? That's what I do. And I prioritize what are 2 things that I'm absolutely must get done today. So every day, 2 things, and everything else is like a bonus.
So how do you that's the goal, right? To do the things that are the priority. How do you kind of shift from being caught in your schedule and letting the day happen to you to shift to that ability to kind of do the stuff that you want to actually happen?
Sure, that's simple in the sense that you just have to intentionally decide at the beginning of the day what that priority is. So if I say that, hey, my priority is to, unpack this new light that I bought. And then from the beginning of the day, as soon as I decide what am I going to do today, I'm unpack the light. It's right there. It's in my face. This is the thing that I must get done. And I just do it because it's at the top of the list.
But what about that's hard, I'm tired?
That's different. So that's where the gamification comes in. If I didn't have the gamification and I just had a to-do list, then yeah, I would let it go. But the gamification works for me because I'm aiming for like 100 points. I really like tracking numbers. So the gamification is like, yeah, I got to do this.
Yeah. So just kind of making it fun and trying to, whatever those strategies are, finding those habits and then pushing yourself to complete those priorities. I really like that approach as well. I know that you say that you live your life by dua, and that's incredible. So what does that mean and look like in your life?
What I mean by it when I say like life by dua, it's before deciding the direction that you want to go, you let your du'as kind of like, what do I want to make dua for? And then once you've decided, hey, these are the fun, exciting, proactive directions I want to go in my life, then you let the dua lead you forward. So you're making dua, oh Allah, I want to, I don't know, go to the moon one day. And that's your dua, and you have no idea how it happens. But because you keep making this dua, opportunities open up and you start following those opportunities. But this all started because you started with dua, and it didn't come in reaction. It came proactively.
So especially when it comes to health and fitness, a lot of people are kind of going through life just saying, Allah, help me be healthy and fit. Like, what do you think someone's missing out if that's their relationship with their duas for their health?
I think the problem with like, let me be healthy or make me healthy is that it's kind of vague. And inshallah ta'ala, you'll be healthy, but it's kind of vague. And maybe the answer to your dua is somebody to tell you your duas need to be more specific. So for example, if there's a healthy habit, if there's a healthy keystone habit, that then I might start making dua for the keystone. So for example, if I know waking up for fajr and praying in the masjid keeps me healthy, I'll start making dua, oh Allah, like keep me in the masjid in the morning so that I can stay healthy, because I know that's the keystone that leads to the health. So getting more specific. You could also make the dua like to run a marathon. I think just that running marathons might not be healthy, but it's a good example. Like, what I want to run this marathon coming up.
A performance related goal. So, of course we know that you've done a tremendous job teaching thousands of Muslims around the world how to level up their duas. And you often talk about the concept of a dream dua. So what is a dream dua?
So a dream dua, I think a lot of people, they'll make a dua, and then there's these one duas that kind of like, their head kind of like, I love this. And their heart is like pumping. They're so excited about it. I would call that a dream dua. When people are new to the concept of dream duas, their dream duas are pretty standard, such as a dream home, a dream car, a dream spouse, a dream career, a dream, there's about 6 things that when we say dream dua, those are kind of, if you're new to it, that's what dream dua is. The idea though is Allah can answer those duas very quickly for you. What do you do after those dream duas have happened? And that's like the next level. How do you keep coming up with dreams when all your dreams have been answered?
So like today we've been talking about health habits, productivity advice. So do you feel that dua is the key for really taking your life to the next level?
Dua is part of the equation, I would say. So dua, and then you're taking massive action. So if Nuh alayhi salam made dua to Allah, Allah told him to build a boat. And I actually have a t-shirt here that says, maybe you need to build a boat. All right? Because some duas need that kind of action, but it's dua that, that starts the train moving towards the building of the boat. So dua is part of the equation.
What is just one tip that you could give someone to improve their Ramadan duas?
One tip is this thing called be, do, have. And be is like who you want to become. Do is things you want to experience. And have are things that you want to possess. And I would just tell somebody, pick something that you want to own. Pick something that you want to experience. And pick, an identity that you want to become. And if you did that right now, I think just in 2 minutes, your dua would be more exciting. And a lot of people don't even realize they can choose those things.
So giving the example of, you know, an overworked mom who's like really wants to level up her health and fitness, what does that be do have model look like for her?
Okay, so let's suppose, again, we're making dua to Allah. Maybe she wants a treadmill, you know, the same treadmills that are at the gym. She wants it in her house. And I actually looked this up today. How much does it cost to rent a gym level, you know, professional treadmill? So she wants it rented, and if she doesn't want it anymore, she can switch it out. That's possession. Ownership. If she wanted to experience something, maybe she wants to go on a kayaking trip with fellow moms in, you know, I don't know, in somewhere really beautiful, the Lake District or something, I don't know, wherever. And if she wants to become, this is actually really big, is how does she identify herself? So imagine that she says, my dua is, I want to be a personal trainer. And every time she's introduced at the masjid, Assalamu alaikum, this is Khadija, she's a personal trainer. Like, wow, like that's an identity that will lead her to healthy habits.
I really resonate to that, because for me, like, I struggled with my weight growing up. And so I was always, you know, making dua to be able to lose weight, be able to get healthy. And then like now as a fitness instructor, like I can't believe that my dua was answered in that way, because I was just thinking about, oh, I just want to be healthy myself. Never thought that I would be sharing fitness with others. So, you know, I love that model, almost just expanding our concept by what it really means to have our duas answered. So from my own personal curiosity, of course, as a, you know, fitness educator, someone who's trying to share health and fitness, a passion for that online. And of course, there's a lot of Muslims trying to do that as well within the Muslim community. What do you think, what are some kind of tips that you would have to be able to use social media and this platform effectively, while also kind of just being aware of sometimes the negative environment that is created on social media?
I don't know. I think there's like unlimited things to do on social media. Obviously, there's two parts to it. One is you're a consumer, and one is you are a producer. You're creating things and you're consuming things. You want to make sure the stuff that you consume is nutritious for your brain, nutritious for your eyes, and when you're creating things, I would really hope that people, when they choose to create things, they create things of benefit. I know there's a lot of like junk content, but like you want to be part of something that adds value to other people, and people appreciate that. Maybe it's not as exciting as a cat video, but over time, you know, you'll get your tribe, and they're benefiting from what you're giving.
I like that.
Yeah.
A nutritious social media diet. That's great advice. So, of course, you have Visionaire Ramadan coming up this year again. So, for those who might not have heard of Visionaire Ramadan, tell us what it's about, and you know, what's that real change that someone would see through the program?
There is a course on designing dream duas for the last 10 nights of Ramadan. Think of a spiritual retreat in the Andes Mountains or something like that. That is Visionaire, but it's online. So it's a spiritual retreat, and it's a goal-setting workshop, and it is connecting all of this to your dua. And my goal in Visionaire is not to distract you from Ramadan, but actually push your heart and your attention and your focus to maximize your benefit in Ramadan, because you have the opportunity to make dua to Allah, and that's not the problem. The problem is, like, are you coming prepared for those moments? And so Visionaire is all about preparing your life, preparing your duas to be the best duas you can make when those last 10 nights of Ramadan come along. And the experience of what we've been doing Visionaire for the last 10 years. And when, you know, 2 years ago when there was lockdown, and people had to experience Ramadan online, we had already been online for about 8 years at that point. So we fully know what it's like to have a virtual audience, and inshallah ta'ala, it's going to be starting like in 1 day. So we wait all year long for this program, and it's starting in 1 day, inshallah ta'ala. Visionaire Ramadan.
I love that concept that we know that there's this blessed time in the last 10 nights, this opportunity for dua. So setting yourself up so you're so excited to make duas then definitely is so transformative. And so definitely, so visionaireramadan.com, check it out, inshallah, benefit from that. I just want, from your experience, I'm sure you must have a lot of Muslims who come into to Visionaire with health and fitness dream duas.
So one thing I try my best not to do is tell people what they should be making dua for. So even when you told me to give an example, I made an exception for you because this isn't my class.
Thank you.
But I'm trying to be really careful because you can suggest things to people and then they'll be like, yeah, that's my dream dua. And I don't want that to be. I want what comes from their heart. So for sure, fitness, dream duas are definitely in the mix. What I tell people in class from my experience is not to use numbers as your dream dua. So to lose 10 pounds, like, oh, Allah, help me lose 10 pounds. From my experience, it's not exciting, it's not motivational, and it doesn't result in anything. I like to tell people to, like, what's the vehicle that's going to help you arrive at the loss of 10 pounds? And then you're like, well, if I go to the gym every day or if I drink smoothies every day, I'm like, make dua for the smoothies, make dua for the gym, because that's going to lead to the results that you want.
I love that, because so often I find that the people who are actually motivated with their fitness are not the ones who have an arbitrary number on the scale. It's the ones who are saying, I want to go hiking with my family, and that's what actually gets them excited. And even personally, I found that, you know, so many people start with their fitness chasing a number, but the thing that actually keeps you long-term motivated is when you realize that the number is just one measurement of health, and that real definition of your body being healthy is performance related goals. So, you know, really it's awesome to see that also kind of translated. You know, I actually have a lot of women in my boot camp who will say that, you know, oh, my dream dua was to, you know, become someone who's healthy, someone who has energy, and then I found your boot camp. So, you know, I hear a lot of that actually, who people who have that transformation. What's, like, just to end it off, like, what's a really cool Ramadan dua story you can share with us from someone from Visionaire?
A Ramadan dua story. So this happened to me last year's Ramadan. Actually, there's two parts to it. So every time I come into Ramadan, I remind myself again and again, Muhammad, aim higher, because whatever you aim for, Allah is giving that to you, and you could have got more if you asked for more. And every year I come into Ramadan telling myself that, and I still choose my du'as, and then 1 week later it happens, you know, something happens. And last year's Visionaire, I had a life-changing du'a. This is life-changing. And in class, in the break time, the du'a was being answered. In the break time of the class. And this is not a small du'a. This is a life-altering du'a happening. And at the end of the year, like, so Visionaire is starting tomorrow. A few days ago, I looked at my pictures of my du'as. Like, when I make du'as, I choose pictures of what it looks like. So I looked at the collage, and I had to remind myself that 1 year ago, this was my dream. And the reason I have to remind myself is because this is a typical picture in my life now, what I'm looking at. And I'm like, no, remember last year, this was the dream. Because now it seems so boring and mundane because it's happened. Like, this happened and that happened and you did this and that happened. And so that's why every Ramadan I'm really excited about, you know what, you're going to die anyway, so you might as well do something fun.
Okay. On that note, Shaykh Muhammad sharing with us tips on, you know, really leveling up your life with the power of dua. Visionaire Ramadan is starting tomorrow, so definitely check out visionaireramadan.com. And again, like, I love how you said expanding our concept of what's possible in our lives to get to that point where we're making such insane duas, and then we're just seeing those manifest in our life is absolutely beautiful. And I know that that message of hopefulness is just something that so many people need who are struggling in that cycle of frustrated motivation. Like, we're aiming, like, I just want to work it every day, but like, we could make that so much bigger and so much more exciting. So that is awesome. Jazakallah khair again for sharing your time with us. I hope, inshallah, you have an amazing rest of Ramadan, and as well one that's continued to be healthy and energetic. And inshallah, I hope many of our listeners as well check out Ramadan, inshallah. So thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. Assalamu alaikum,
Take
everybody.
care. Assalamu alaikum. Shaykh has just ended off with us. So thank you for those who joined us live. So often when we're thinking about, you know, why am I struggling with my health so often? You know, we're just thinking about what am I struggling with, but really taking a step back and looking at the habits that lead us to struggle. So what does your day look like on the day that you struggle versus what does it look like when you nailed it, when you had such a good, strong day? And what were the differences between those 2 days? So Shaykh was saying, like, his day that's super healthy is a day that starts with going to the masjid for fajr. That doesn't directly have anything to do with health, but it's a habit that leads to the rest of a really successful day. And I definitely find that as well. You know, when I find those things in my days that, okay, if I do this, the rest of the day is going to really be different. Find those things in your life and stick with them. For me, it's often pushing my workout earlier in the day. When I get that bit of movement in the day, then I'm more motivated to eat healthy for the rest of the day. I'm more motivated to have that discipline for the rest of the day. And so it's about really looking at your habits, looking at your day, getting familiar with your patterns in the day, and then finding how you can get into that really good flow. And I loved how we were talking about, often if you hit that afternoon slump, so often we're like, oh, the afternoon's awful every day. Well, what happened just before it became awful? Like, was it that you started scrolling on social media, and that's what led to that spiral that kind of captured the rest of your afternoon? So then when we know that that's the thing, that's that thing that really, I know if I jump into that, the rest of the day is lost. There's that added motivation to be able to say, okay, I'm putting away my phone now, and maybe I'm going to go for a walk instead. So stepping back and getting that awareness about our own habits is such a game changer. And again, we were setting this up talking about health and fitness and productivity in Ramadan. That conversation so often has to come back to habit change, and that's such a beautiful time in Ramadan to develop that, inshallah. So I hope you guys benefited from this discussion. Let us know, maybe let me know who else you'd like for us to chat with on these upcoming Instagram lives. Also, quick reminder that we have Ramadan workouts all month long. So if you are struggling with setting up your workouts, if you're struggling with getting active this Ramadan, remember, we have workouts all month to help you do that. So you can find those at ramadanreset.com/workouts. All of our workouts in Ramadan are completely free, between 5, 10, or 12 minutes long. So definitely bring your family and do them together. The last new workout that I posted is a chair workout. It's super effective, tones and strengthens your shoulders and leaves you feeling so energetic, and it's done on a chair in 12 minutes. So we've really tried to make our workouts for Ramadan really practical, you know, and something that the entire family can do together. So I would love to hear how you guys enjoy the workouts. Also, we always do our Ramadan giveaway. So if you are doing our Ramadan workouts, be sure to take a picture of your workouts, your workout space, your workout calendar, maybe your chair, and share it. It's the best thing for us to see you guys actually doing the workouts in your living room. So I would love to see that. Definitely share your pictures with us, and we are going to be picking winners in Ramadan to share sports hijabs. So that's always fun. So do your Ramadan workouts. Definitely send us your pictures, and we cannot wait to see them. Until our next live together, stay blessed and stay fit. Salam.